Uh, the whole story of Joseph is long, and even this part of it, I'm going to skip over some of it just to make the point. But someone told me here a while back that it was wrong for a Christian to be a prepper. Well, I said, so it's wrong for a Christian to be a prepper? Yes. So what about a Jew? He said, what? I said, what about a Jew? Is it wrong for a Jew to be a prepper? And he said, I said, yeah. I said, there was a Jew that was a prepper back in the Old Testament. So prepping isn't new. It's called using your head and using wisdom imparted to you by God. I'm going to be reading in Genesis chapter 41. That's about as Old Testament as you can get, isn't it? And I'm going to start in verse 1. Verse 1 kind of refers to some things that had already come to pass, but it's important here. And like I said, starting in verse 1, and it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine, that's cattle, and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke. And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there as us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams, to each man according to his dream he did interpret. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. That was the baker. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it, and I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. Now, here he tells Joseph what the dream was, and, actually the 2 dreams, and starting in verse 25, and Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty, throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because this thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all of his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. In other words, Joseph is now the second in command, right out of prison. Ain't that something? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had, and they cried before him, Bow the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Now, there's a lot more to this story, like I said, but what it comes down to is, people say quite often that God will not speak to a non-Christian. Now, I have argued with this because God spoke to me when I was not a Christian. And right here, he spoke to Pharaoh. Now, do you think the Pharaoh was a Christian? Nope. He wasn't even a Hebrew. And it's just like Nebuchadnezzar. He wasn't a Christian. He wasn't a Hebrew. So God does talk to people. And even though he does talk to non-Christians, he certainly speaks to Christians. He will give you unction. He will make things known to you. You will feel things that a lot of people don't feel. And there have been a lot of people here the last couple of years that have said the same thing I have said. One of them is a famous televangelist, Perry Stone, about how the New Madrid fault line is about due to blow up again. And you need to get the things right in your mind that God tells you. And by that I mean he has told me and a lot of other people. I'm not bragging on myself. He told a lot of people, you need to have a garden. And I'm talking about a vegetable garden, not a flower garden. I told a lady that lives in England that she needed a garden, and she said, I have lots of flowers. They look at gardens a little different than we do here in the South. Here in the South, you say you got a garden, we're not talking about flowers. We're talking about food. And you need to get things that are non-GMO so you can save the seeds and have something to plant next year as well. And like I told a friend of mine the other day, even if I don't get use out of these things, like the things that we have canned, uh, our vegetables in our garden, uh, canning meat, whatever. Someone will get use out of it. If we get all of these food things done up and everything, and then Jesus comes and snatches us out of here, that's fine. Somebody will get some use out of it. And I'm not talking about necessarily my family either. Hopefully, all of them will go in the rapture. But if they don't, they'll know to come up here and get the stuff. My, friends, neighbors, whatever. Once Beth and I are out of here, if our kids go, then, it's free to go to whoever needs it. And it might keep somebody from having to take the mark of the beast to keep their family fed. I think that would be a good thing, don't you? And we were talking this morning, or actually yesterday, when it came up. They have Bible verse of the day thing. Yesterday, April 1st, All Fools Day, April 1st, April Fool's Day, whatever you want to call it. Somebody put on there the verse that starts out, "A fool says in his heart, there is no God." And I said, that's pretty good for April the 1st. Because you got to be a fool to believe that there is no God. And I want everybody to get saved, and I want everybody to get ready for the rapture. When Jesus comes, we go meet him in the clouds, and we'll always be with the Lord. In fact, we will come back to earth with him when he sets up his 1,000-year reign here on earth. And the only reason for the 1,000-year reign is because at the end of that, Satan gets his little bit of time, and then he literally goes to hell. He's not going to be the warden anymore. He's going to be an inmate, and he's going to be in the worst part. It's kind of like death row in our prisons, right? Okay, now then, like I said, if you can see this, especially if you're east of the Mississippi River, grow a garden, vegetable garden. Get you some kind of a meat source. Now, a lot of people don't understand. Keep you some chickens. We have chickens out in our backyard. We have 3 hens. Every 4 days we get a dozen eggs. Now, that's protein. That's as good as any other meat. So get you some chickens. A lot of towns won't let you have a rooster, but they'll let you have hens because hens don't crow. People say, well, you can buy eggs cheaper than you can buy chicken feed and keep them fed and all that. Well, that may be true, but if things go south, you're not going to have any eggs. You won't be able to buy any. But if you buy chickens, hens, of course, ahead of time, then you will have a meat source and grow things that are going to keep it up pretty well for the whole summer. And can the things that you don't eat, or vacuum pack them, dehydrate them, whatever you can do. And there's a lot of things on YouTube that you can look up on how to can, how to vacuum pack, how to dehydrate, dry out, all kinds of things to store food for the long haul. And, you can buy canned goods at the store, and unless there's something wrong with the seal or something on it, they'll keep for a long time. But like I said, I'd do this if I knew absolutely Jesus was coming in the morning, tonight, whatever, to take us out of here. I'd still do it to help others. I love y'all. We'll see you next time. Y'all be good. Love y'all. Bye.